resilient damn football team right here, man. I'm so proud of you guys, man. That same process every week. One, two, three, win!
Hello, everybody, and welcome into Week 5 of the Sean McDermott Show. We're presented by Kaleida Health. Thanks for joining us at home. Sean, thanks for spending a couple minutes with us. Tough loss in Baltimore against a really good team. You knew it was going to be a dogfight going in. They were a little desperate to win this game. What positives, if any, can you take from a loss like that?
Lessons, really. Yeah. I mean, you learn a lot when you go through a situation like that, and you hope you go through and learn the same amount when you win, but it's just not always the case. And so, really the season's about recalibrating, pivoting in some areas, polishing in others to help make us a better team overall. And that's, I hope, what comes from this game.
Yeah, so Josh only threw for 180 yards. He still hasn't thrown let me knock on wood again. Still hasn't thrown for an interception this year. He made that crazy throw to Khalil to set up the touchdown. And the offense seemed to struggle to get into a rhythm. How do you want to see Josh respond himself in this week?
We can help him by getting back to doing a little bit more of what we've done to this point and being a little bit maybe more balanced, if you will, and balanced not just on offense but complementary-wise in all three phases working together. And so probably got a little bit out over our skis with just trying to do too much, and then that's what typically leads to being as sore as he was after the game.
So Khalil continues to shine. He set an NFL record for the most targets in a row with a reception, leading receiver for the third straight week. Had the long catch to set up that touchdown, as we mentioned. What's next for him in this offense? I mean, you've seen him grow steadily into the end of last year and, of course, this year where he's gotten off to the fast start.
He's so instinctive, has such a good rapport built with Josh. He's just a really good football player. What's next is, I think, more and more consistency, and I don't think we really know yet where that ceiling is for Khalil in terms of how he can help our football team and the splash plays he continues to make for us.
So Dorian Williams was forced into the lineup early in the season because of the injuries. He led the team with 12 tackles in Baltimore, and he's recorded 9+ defensive tackles in 4 straight games, ties a team record with Chris Spielman back in the day, leads the team with 42 tackles. What do you think of the way he has stepped in and to fans? I mean, he's overperformed. What do you have to say about a guy like that?
Yeah,
it's been amazing.
Yeah,
right?
He's had to grow up really fast.
Right.
With unexpectedly Milano going down now for the second year in a row. It's hey Dorian, you got to lead us here, and he's done a really good job. This past game probably not his best game, but I think one he'll learn from. And when you're in that environment, it was a intense environment at their place. We got off to a slow start defensively in particular in that case, and you got to claw yourself back, and not only physically but mentally, and I saw him do that through the course of the game.
So you're about a quarter of the way through the season. You're 3-1. But you are leading the division even after a rough week in Baltimore. How is your start this year at 3-1 compared to the expectations you had for your own team?
Yeah, I think many out there might say, I don't want to speak for them, but hey, the Bills are they're going to take some time, or they may not be as good, and that's all fine. We really just stay inside of these walls and have certain expectations for ourselves, and those expectations are that we're going to prepare our butts off to play the best that we can and get our heads focused and where they need to be. And this past game, we didn't play our best. We didn't coach our best, and so that's something we can control. And again, like I said, we played the game on their terms, and we can't do that going forward.
All right, Coach, thanks. We're going to come back to you later in the show to get your final thoughts on facing the Texans down in Houston. Stay with us. We'll be right back on the Sean McDermott Show.
The Game Plan is presented by Energy Mark. Trust Energy Mark for renewable energy supply.
When we come back, Eric Wood breaks down the top plays from last Sunday's game. Later on, we take a look at how receiver Khalil Shakir learns from a Bills legend to improve his game.
Chopping Wood is presented by St. Bonaventure University, an official education partner of the Buffalo Bills.
Welcome back to the Sean McDermott Show, and it's time now for another edition of Chopping Wood with our good buddy Eric Wood. The Bills got handed their first loss of the season down in Baltimore, and after the game, Josh said it wasn't all bad despite the score. What good did you take away from this game?
Yeah, he said it wasn't all bad, and it's early enough in the season to go back and correct everything. I saw some good in the offense despite the low score and the obvious struggles. Khalil Shakir, he continued to be a good outlet for Josh, and we saw that trust on that really nice 52-yard play that we'll take a look at. And then Keon made a couple nice catches against man coverage, and an element that hopefully we'll continue to see in this Bills offense. And then while Dalton Kincaid is yet to really take over a game, we saw some glimpses of what he can do against zone defenses. It was a tough loss, but there's a lot here to learn from.
Well, let's start with that big play to Shakir. That's vintage Josh. He strung the play all the way to the sideline, and then he flicked it 52 yards down the field. Break it down for us.
Josh sees a pressure look from the Ravens, so he brings Ty Johnson and he brings Kincaid back in the backfield for extra protection. It ends up being only a four-man rush, and eventually a stunt inside is going to pressure Josh out of the pocket. He's able to escape the pocket to the right, even though there's guys barreling down on him. Khalil Shakir stays alive down the sideline and just kind of sneaks past the defenders. And then Josh, I believe the next-gen stats say he was 0.9 yards away from the sideline when he let this one go. Shows off some serious arm talent to get this ball down the field for the Bills' biggest gain of the day.
Now, a little later, the Bills were in empty, and Josh connected with Keon Coleman for 24 yards. What did you think of this catch?
This is a nice play, and this is some serious trust by Josh Allen and Keon Coleman here. He's going to just trust him on the back shoulder throw that Keon's going to make the catch and not let the defender get in on this one. Keon does a great job of waiting till the last second to turn for this ball. That's the key in not letting the defender get an early beat on this one. This is a matchup we saw Josh go after a few times in this game, and he connects here with Keon Coleman.
Then on the next possession, Josh hit Dalton Kincaid over the middle for 25 yards. What did you see on this one?
Yeah, Josh shows off some serious arm talent here. Dalton Kincaid's going to work over the middle of the field with a split backer look in the middle, which one of those is their safety, Kyle Hamilton, who they'll line up all over the place. Josh is just trusting that Kincaid is going to sit in that open zone between them. Not a ton of quarterbacks can make this throw or have the confidence to, but Josh guns it in there, and this is a nice gain for the Bills.
Then a couple of plays later, Josh came back to Keon on the outside for another nice gain. Break this one down.
Yeah, this is going to be very similar to the one we looked at 2 plays ago, where Josh sees one-on-one coverage on the outside and trusts his big-bodied rookie receiver out there to make the play on the outside versus one-on-one coverage. This, to me, as the Bills are finding ways to be able to work the ball down the field, these back shoulder throws can be something that can potentially open up some other windows as teams try to defend this. And Keon Coleman showing twice in this game that he can do it.
Great stuff as always. Thanks for this, Eric. We're going to catch up with you after the Bills face the Texans on Sunday. We'll see you then.
Yep, looking forward to it, Steve.
Still to come on the Sean McDermott Show, learn how Bills legend Eric Moulds is teaching current receiver Khalil Shakir. Then we take a look at some next-gen stats in Sportsology.
I told my older brother, I was like, if I'm going to live down there next to you, man, I need a trainer.
I want to come down there, but I need to find a trainer. Can you find me one? And within that week, someone told me about Moulds.
Somebody reached out to me and said, hey, do you know Khalil? And I really don't know him, but I know he plays for the Bills. And they told me I think he's trying to get in contact with me.
I was like, this would be the perfect role model for you to fall into, because he's not just going to teach you football, but he's going to teach you the Bills way, you know?
He reached out to me and said, hey, man, I'd love to work with you. Can you help me become a better player? And I jumped at the chance.
Like, I knew of the name and I knew who he was, but as far as, what he was able to accomplish and everything, that came after I started to train with him, and his mentality towards things and just how he is when I show up every day. Like, I was like, yeah, this is it right here.
I always said if I get a chance to help the younger generation, I would, and it just took off, and all of a sudden it became a great relationship.
What's up, baby? Ready to get it?
Yep.
All right. Head, high knees, 10 seconds. Let's get it.
First thing we do was sit down for about 30 minutes, and I said, what do you want to get out of this? Do you want to just be a guy that's on the team, or do you want to be a difference maker? And obviously he said, I want to be a difference maker, so that lets me know our training's got to be a little bit different.
Here we go, ready. There you go, good, perfect.
Every day you come in here, it's going to go up a notch.
Up and down, let's go. 1, 2, 3, good. Now walk it out, baby. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, split. Good, that's it, good movement.
I think what Moulds offers as a trainer is he walked the path himself.
I had to deal with these guys, Bruce, Andre Thurman set a standard, and the game came easy to him. So I said, I'm going to adopt that.
His level of experience, being able to pass that wisdom down onto guys like me, that's something that a lot of trainers can't offer.
All right, you got 10 seconds. We're going to work. 1, 2, 3. Good. That's what I want to hear. Good. I can hear the footwork.
Him as a coach, he's never going to sit there and get in my face. That's not the type of coach he is. He takes time to learn you as a person.
A lot of people train people like bodybuilders, and they create slow twitch muscles. I train them like athletes because everything he does is fast, quick, moving. Good work right there. I like it.
He's fun to be around, very intelligent. He's going to be on time. He's going to do exactly what is expected of him. If he doesn't know what to do, he'll ask you questions over and over until he masters it.
Oh, yes, sir. Your favorite. You got side jumps, baby.
I really believe that every sport is 90% mental. If you're mentally strong, your 10% athletic ability will take over and you'll do well. So you got to bring your athletic ability and your drive to that notch. And he's done it, and he never complains.
8 hug jumps, 10 slam jumps. And then you guys are going to come over here and do push up, get up quick, 5.
Some kids, it's too hard, this hurts, I'm sore. He never says a word. Only thing he ever says anything about is the heat. The heat is too hot.
I'll walk in, he'll turn that heater on. And he's like just staring at me like, what?
He said it's cold in here, but it's hot. I think that's still lying.
Like when you sweat, you usually get hot, right?
It feel like 68 in here to y'all?
Even like little stuff like that, I'm like, all right, bro, like that's how we're starting off today, you know? It's like lace him up, get him going.
Pop, 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 pop. There you go. Come on, straight back into it.
We got a great relationship, more like a big brother, little brother.
It's crazy, man. He messes with you a lot.
Pick it up, let's go.
He cracks a lot of jokes, but when it's time to work out, like he's still gonna crack those jokes, but he's a little serious about them too.
Oh, you did 2 sets already?
No.
Oh, okay, I'm just wondering. Thought he was gonna take the day off or something. I don't know.
My job is to get the most out of him and teach him as much as I can and see how he picks it up.
Ooh, easy work. I tell you, the price of being an athlete, they just...
Yo, you'd be like, too tired to even drink water.
I like to say I'm never tired, but I'll probably have my moments, but like he'll sit there and just be like, oh, you tired, huh?
Tired yet?
No.
Get some water, suck it up, and let's go. There you go.
Van Pelt going deep for Moulds. Oh, what a catch! Touchdown!
I would think of him as a player like if he, got tired during plays or when he had a record game in the playoffs.
Breaks a tackle, gets a great block, and there he goes!
Just his mentality towards working to get to where you want to be.
Every day I work out in here, like half of it I'm looking up. You got legends all over the wall, and he a legend himself, So I think it's pretty sick.
It's easy to get in the league, so to speak, but it's hard to stay.
I told him, I said, I can give you advice. It's up to you to take it. You got to still prove yourself every day.
Next up on the Sean McDermott Show, we break down some next-gen stats in Sportsology. Plus, hear Coach's final thoughts on heading to Houston to face the Texans on Sunday.
Sportsology is presented by ECMC. ECMC, bringing hope and healing to Western New York.
Bills quarterback Josh Allen is not like many quarterbacks. Allen does things with his arms and legs that other QBs dream of. Allen is a clutch quarterback who makes clutch plays. Allen completed a 52-yard bomb to wide receiver Khalil Shakir, which set up a Bills touchdown. The best part about the play, Allen was just 0.9 yards away from the sideline when he completed the pass. In other words, that's about 2.5 Josh Allen cleats from the sideline. Absolutely insane. Allen hasn't done this just once or twice. He's done it 7 times. Since entering the NFL in 2018, our QB has completed 6 of 7 passes for 118 yards and 3 touchdowns within a yard of the sideline. If you're wondering about the rest of the NFL, well, they're just 1 of 16 on passes that happen within a yard of the sideline. Allen is a magician. I know we're all looking forward to more plays throughout the season where QB1 shocks the world.
After the break, the crew from Buffalo Bills Weekly gives us their game preview for Sunday's matchup with C.J. Stroud and the Texans. Plus, Coach shares what it will take to get the win in Houston on Sunday.
A Week 5 matchup against the Houston Texans is on deck for the Bills. The coaching staff said there's several lessons that this team can learn from after suffering their first loss of the season. When it comes to the offense, what that looks like is staying on schedule, not getting into situations like 3rd and long. The Bills were 3 of 13 on 3rd down conversions against Baltimore. How can the offense successfully stay on schedule?
Well, if they can just use their run game through the deeper sections of the game, I think they'll be okay. James Cook was running the ball well against Baltimore last week, but the problem was things got lopsided on the scoreboard and they had to throw more, and that makes you one-dimensional. You're more susceptible to pass pressure, which we saw in that game. So I think getting James Cook off to a good start in the run game will go a long way to keeping them on schedule, because this is a good offensive line that has blocked well for James. James has great vision, so you stay on schedule there. It makes you more unpredictable in terms of the play calls, and then you can move the ball down the field, stick it in the end zone. That's the plan here. Use James to get into manageable down and distance, and then let Joe Brady cook up whatever he has in mind.
When it comes to getting in the end zone, this team is one of the best at the NFL doing so. They're doing it at 73% of the time, scoring touchdowns in the red zone. And the Houston Texans are one of the worst in the league at defending teams in the red zone. When it comes to what the defense is going to have to face and get ready for in the Texans, it's a top-tier wide receiver group. One of those wide receivers leads the NFL in receiving yards right now with 489. His name is Nico Collins, and another receiver is very familiar with the Buffalo Bills. He got traded by the Bills in the offseason. That's Stephon Diggs. He really understands this defense. What does the defense's plan need to be to stop a talented group like this one?
Yeah, I think you're going to probably hear Sean McDermott talk all week about stopping the run game first, making them one-dimensional. We'll have to see what the availability of Joe Mixon and Dameon Pierce are. They've been out for the last couple of weeks with injuries. They might get back this week, so that would make their run game more formidable. But look, with the receiving core that they have and can put out on the field, I'm curious to see what the coverage calls look like for the Bills. I'm not saying they got to man up necessarily, but I think they have to plaster. This is a defense that's going to have to force C.J. Stroud to go to number 2 and number 3 in his progression reads. That should allow them to marry coverage with the rush, and then they should be able to get heat on Stroud and make some of his decisions difficult.
We talked about how it starts at the line of scrimmage. Well, Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud has been sacked 13 times to start the season. That's the 4th most in the league. Hopefully our defensive line can get some pressure, make life a little bit easier for the guys on the back end.
Right, and again, it's marrying the pressure with the coverage. They might not get there right away every time, but if the coverage is good on the back end, you have what's called a coverage sack, and we've seen some of those already from the Bills this season. So hopefully they can rattle C.J. a little bit. I know he's a calm, cool, and collected quarterback. Very little rattles him, but if you can get some hits on him early, you know, he might be seeing some ghosts back there through the course of the game.
The Bills have a chance at a bounce-back victory after their first loss. Head coach Sean McDermott is 18-5 following losses since the 2019 season. That's a pretty good record.
Yeah, and I think Coach McDermott has proven this over the years. He and his staff are very good at course-correcting their team after a loss. And I think the players coming out of this Baltimore game, just in discussions amongst themselves, have said, look, maybe we got a little complacent with 2 easy victories back-to-back. Maybe we didn't put all of the prep time in that we usually do. Let's get back on task and make sure we're almost over-prepared for this one.
For more from Brownie and Maddy, including insights from players and coaches, plus exclusive interviews, check your local listings for Buffalo Bills Weekly, also available on Buffalo Bills YouTube. Coach, going on the road for the 2nd straight week down to Houston. They're 3-1. They had to come back to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's the first time you're going to be facing C.J. Stroud, who had the great rookie season last year. He's the reigning Rookie of the Year. 27 of 40 he was, 345 yards, a couple of TDs. Does his play, as you get into the preparation of that, does he remind you of any veteran quarterbacks our fans might be familiar with?
You know what, I'm really not certain yet. I can't answer that with great certainty because I haven't watched a lot of him. He is new. We haven't played against him. CJ just being a second-year player in the league. But, man, he took the league by storm last year, and so did the Texans. And so this will be a big challenge for us, Steve, and one that we're looking forward to.
And D'Amico Ryans, the head coach last year for the first time, turned him around very quickly, as you said, took him to the playoffs, had a playoff win to start his career as a head coach. How do you describe this Texans team under D'Amico Ryans?
Yeah, talented football team. Seems to me I don't know D'Amico that well, but seems to have a really good handle on the defense and what he wants to get done with their team. And, like I said, they've got big-time playmakers at most positions.
Their number one guy down there, Nico Collins, coming off a career game, 12 receptions, 151 yards, a touchdown. And, of course, Steph Diggs, as we all know, it's his running mate. How does the presence of all these weapons affect the way you need to defend that offense and how you feel about it? I mean, this is a strange offense, but they got some dudes over there.
They got some dudes, and if we could get a 12th guy on the field, that'd probably help us a little bit. We've got to go down there and we've got to play well-rounded, sound, fundamentally strong football, physical, and work together to get this win.
Coach, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Good luck this week against the Texans. We'll catch up with you next week. And to everybody at home, thanks for joining us on the Sean McDermott Show. We're presented by Kaleida Health. We'll see you next time, and as always, go Bills.
Final Thoughts is presented by Toyota. Toyota is the exclusive and official vehicle of the Buffalo Bills. Toyota, let's go places. The Sean McDermott Show is presented by Kaleida Health, the official healthcare provider of the Buffalo Bills. By Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys. Call 716-684-COMP today. And by Toyota. Toyota is the exclusive and official vehicle of the Buffalo Bills. Toyota, let's go places.